And a good evening, everyone, and welcome to Eagle Stadium in Hudsonville for tonight's regular season finale as the Hudsonville Eagles get set to take on the Buccaneers from Grand Haven. Hi, everybody. Kurt Wilson with you on this partnership from WCET-TV and the Hudsonville Athletic Department here on our Hudsonville Sports Network. It is the finale between two teams that wish things had gone a little bit different during the regular season, with the Hudsonville Eagles coming off a loss last week at East Kentwood, a heartbreaker, 29-20, a game in which they really needed to have a chance to get enough playoff points to make this game a game that they could win and get into the playoffs. And on the flip side, Grand Haven has had a struggle of it. Just a one-win season. The Buccaneers come in with a record of 1-7, and they are on a losing streak that has reached a total of 6 games in a row. So two teams that will try to finish up in good stead here tonight in the finale of the regular season in front of a senior night crowd here at Eagle Stadium. Great to have you along here tonight on our partnership with the Hudsonville Athletic Department, and we are going to pause now for our national anthem, brought to you tonight by the Hudsonville Marching Band.
For everyone to enjoy tonight's contest. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd ask that you stand. The privilege of this game was made possible by those who fought and continue to fight for the freedoms that we enjoy. Let us now honor and respect their efforts and our country by gentlemen removing your caps. All active and retired military, we encourage you to render the appropriate salute. And everyone that is able, please stand as tonight, our very own Hudsonville Marching Band, under the direction of Senior Drum Major Reagan Hall, with the playing of our national anthem.
Our national anthem from the Hudsonville Marching Band here on senior night. Not only senior night for the football players, but also for band members here tonight. Always an emotional night here for a final night for seniors and also for families of seniors. Beautiful night weather-wise. Could not ask for anything more. This is an absolutely gorgeous night. Temperatures in the 60s. The skies up above are blue. And for a late October football night, boy, knock on wood, it is an absolutely gorgeous night to sit and watch a high school football game. Well, the OK Red Conference is coming right down to the final week of play to determine a champion as well. Rockford and Caledonia playing tonight, and they both have 6-0 conference records, so they meet in Caledonia. The winner will win the conference title, and obviously will get a top seed in the Division I tournament, and the runner-up will also get a pretty good seed and will have a good chance to make a run in D1. Granville and East Kentwood right now, if they both win tonight, would also have a really good opportunity to get into the playoffs. And when you look at the strength of schedule in the OK Red, this is a very, very tough conference to have to maneuver night in and night out. When you look at Hudsonville, they have really been competitive in each and every game this season. Started off 0-4, but probably one of the toughest Division I schedules of any team in the state, starting off with the game at Saline. Saline has been in the top 10 off and on all season long in Division I. The Eagles lost 24-15, a game that they led in that game in the mid-portion of the game. Lost at Always Tough Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Lost to Granville here 40-29. Lost to Caledonia 40-14. Then put together a two-game win streak at West Ottawa 35-14 and beat Jenison in a shutout 38-zip. And then had Rockford on the ropes here in the last home game. Really played the undefeated Rams very, very tough here on the home field before falling 42-31. And last week's game, again close, came right down to the final few possessions, and East Kentwood picked up the win 29-20. And so the Hudsonville Eagles come into this finale with an overall record of 2-6, 2-4 in the conference. While Grand Haven is coming off a loss at Granville, 53-29. That was their sixth loss in a row. 5 on the field. 1 was a forfeit. They had to forfeit a game in week 4 at Rockford because of some limited numbers of players. They had some injuries and some other factors that they just could not field a team that night. So they had to forfeit a game at Rockford in week 4. So that is part of that 6-game losing streak. The lone win came in week 2 at Traverse City West in a non-conference game. They beat the Titans 49-21. Traverse City West, by the way, they have a team that just moved in to the Saginaw Valley League, of all places, for the very first time. So they had a struggle all season long. But Grand Haven was able to pick up the W in week 2. All right, we're almost set to go here as the Buccaneers and Eagles ready to wrap up the regular season. And it is going to be Hudsonville kicking off. And it's going to be a kick that hits at the 10 and bounds around and goes out of bounds just barely over on that far sideline. It was kind of tight roping the line on that sideline, and Buccaneers let it roll out of bounds, so the flag flies, and the Bucs will have pretty good field position to start their opening drive. Well, when you look at the Grand Haven Buccaneers, they've got a really young quarterback behind a pretty veteran offensive line. They have 4 seniors on their offensive front, but under center, well, not much under center, most of the time in shotgun is Xavier Rodriguez, the sophomore. And he's going to hand it on a jet sweep to this near side to Lance Poole, the senior. And Poole will get across the 40 to the 41, and a pretty good gain on first down. So this Grand Haven offense, again, put 29 points on the board last week, which is their second best effort of the season after that 49-point output in the win over Traverse City West. Xavier Rodriguez with no backs beside him, 4 wide. He's going to throw on 2nd down and 4. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket and going to tuck it and run. First down to the 45, and he gets out of bounds near midfield on his side of the field. Going to mark him just shy of midfield on a nice run for Rodriguez, the sophomore. A week ago in that loss at Granville, Xavier Rodriguez was 16 of 22 through the air for 252 yards. And then he also ran for 113. So he put up some pretty good total offensive numbers in a loss. So the offense did some pretty good damage, but as we saw in the Granville game here, tough to shut down that Granville offense. Here's a big opener, the 40. Watch out, the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and into the end zone for a long touchdown. That's going to be Bodie Wilson, the senior. He goes 51 yards, and just like that, the Buccaneers are on the board. Bodie Wilson made one move at about the 35-yard line that got him open for the last man that he had to beat. 51 yards for Wilson. And just like that, that didn't take long, a 3-play drive. And the Buccaneers have taken the 6-0 lead. And the extra point is on the way. And Taylor knocks it on through. Boy, that did not take long. So at the 11:05 mark here of the opening quarter, Grand Haven leading at 7-0. I'm not sure if that's surprising because this Grand Haven offense really, on tape, looks pretty good. Being able to watch some of their offensive tape the last week or so, doing some scouting, they really do have some explosive players, as we saw there, and they do have that offensive line that is pretty veteran. They have the seniors across the front, and that senior line of Will Bunke, Josh McManus, Chase Follis, Braden Rademacher, and the sophomore center, Dean Matson, really opened up a big hole for Bodie Wilson. So 51 yards later, he's in the end zone, and the Buccaneers have themselves the lead. So are we going to have a shootout here tonight? 3 plays in, it is already 7-0 Grand Haven. Buccaneers will kick it off. It'll be a line drive kick, and it's going to go through the wickets and into the end zone. And Hudsonville is going to have it for the first time. So a 7-0 Buccaneers lead, and we see for the first time the offense of Hudsonville, led by senior quarterback Trey Carr. Carr has some weapons of his own, with senior wideout Eli Vanderveen, leading receiver with 28 catches coming in. Senior running back Drew Bain in the backfield. And Bain does line up with Carr. It's going to be a jet sweep to the near side to Brad Reardon. Reardon to the 25, the 30, sideline 35, and he gets tripped up from behind near the 40. Nice run for Brad Reardon. Reardon does most of his work catching the football, but this time on the jet sweep, picks up 14 yards. So Carr will hurry it up to the line. Eagles will have one wide out on the near side of the field. Carr's going to keep it, quarterback keeper. High steps across the 45 to the 46, maybe the 47-yard line. That's a good chunk of change on a first down carry. And that offensive line that we saw from Grand Haven, same thing happening on the Hudsonville side. That offensive line, so far so good. On a sweep and then on a quarterback keeper up the middle. Play action. Carr looking deep. Vanderveen, he's open. He's got it at the 20 and knocked down at the 15. Carr to Vanderveen. We have watched that connection all season long. And they connect again for a big gainer. So play number 3 doesn't result into the end zone like the Buccaneers did, but it is getting down near knocking on the door time. Handoff to Vanderveen. He's going to turn it up the 10 to the 5 and gets down inside the 5 and close to a first down. I believe he has enough for the first. So Vanderveen with the, looks like an 11-yard gain, and it is. So it's going to be first down and goal to go for Hudsonville. Handoff to Bain. Bain, touchdown Hudsonville. Well, here we go. I hope the scoreboard operator's ready tonight. Touchdown run for Drew Bain. That'll be his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. Officially from 3 yards out at the 9:25 mark. Eagles will try to tie it up. Munoz in for the extra point attempt. Snap is good, placed down, the kick is on the way, and it is good. So just like that, it is a 7-7 game. So how about this? If you blinked or if you went to the refrigerator to grab a cold drink or a bag of chips, you've missed 8 plays and you've missed 14 points. 7-7, Grand Haven and Hudsonville. A 51-yard run by Bodie Wilson of the Bucks on a 3-play drive. Drew Bain capping off a 5-play drive for the Eagles on a 3-yard touchdown. But most of the chunk of yardage came on a connection from Carr to Vanderveen. Vanderveen also doing it with his legs. So the seniors all contributing on that drive. And a 7-7 game. Now this could be a fun one here. Eagles will kick it off. Taken at the 5 on the far sideline of the 10, up to the 15 to the 20-yard line. Buccaneers will start out first down there. Well, when you look at the history of this series between these two teams, it has really been lopsided for Hudsonville the last 10 times. 10-0 the last 10 meetings in favor of Hudsonville. And in that 10-0 run, 3 of the last 4 have been shutouts, but obviously that's not going to happen tonight. This one looks more like shootout than shutout. Handoff, again a jet sweep to the near side and to the outside of the 30. A flag's going to fly in. This probably is going to come back. Flag came on the end just as he was turning the corner. More often than not, that's going to go against the offense. So a holding penalty will negate the run and send the Buccaneers back some yardage. They'll spot it at the 18-yard line. So the down remains the same. It'll be first down from the 18. Bucks have to get to the 37 for the first down. Rodriguez with a running back standing to his side. Rodriguez rolling out to the right and throwing, and it's going to be picked off by Vanderveen. He's got it down the sideline. He heads toward the end zone, and he is in the end zone. Touchdown! Pick 6 for Vanderveen. The senior has come to play. He's caught a long pass, he has run it, and now he has picked it for 6. He just read the eyes of the quarterback, and he made his break just as the ball was leaving the hand of Rodriguez, and he was in stride as he grabbed hold of that one and hit it down the sideline. Nobody was going to catch the speedy Vanderveen, and the defense comes up with points. Munoz, extra point is good. So 14-7. And again, 21 points have been scored, and we still have 8:54 remaining in the opening quarter. You can imagine the emotions of the seniors playing in their final game. And back when you knew if you had to have 6 wins to make the playoffs, you kind of knew what you needed. Now when you have playoff points, you really don't know, but the Eagles pretty much knew after last week when they lost at East Kentwood that the numbers just weren't going to work out. So they knew that this was probably going to be it for them. And you can bet that the emotion of the seniors knowing this is their final game, playing on their home turf for the final time, and boy, Vanderveen, the senior, in the first few minutes of the first quarter, has done what a lot of players dream about to do for their career. There's a kick that bounces at the 10, takes a high bounce, brought down at the 15. Nice special teams kickoff defense. They'll bring him down at the 20. So here comes the Grand Haven offense again. Haven't really been given a whole lot of time to talk about. Xavier Rodriguez, again, just a sophomore. Most of the time, we're going to be talking about running back Lance Poole, who's a senior. Last week, he ran for 50 yards and a couple of scores and had over 100 receiving. There's a quarterback keeper right up the gut, 25-30. Rodriguez with a first down. Gets a dozen yards on a first down carry. Again, very athletic quarterback. Won the quarterback job in preseason camp. Had a couple of other guys that were bidding for the job as well, but the sophomore was able to win the job. And even though the Buccaneers record-wise have struggled, they've got a really nice athlete that's going to be around for a few more years. Running the quarterback spot. He's going to run again. This time not as much room as the Hudsonville defense stacks it up on the right side. Just a yard on the play, 2nd and 9. Clock ticking, 7:52 remaining here. Opening quarter, 14-7, Hudsonville on top. Buccaneers will spread out and stack 2 receivers on each side. Now they'll bring man in motion. And it's a quick pass to Poole to the far side. Poole will grab it and be wrestled out of bounds across the 35 near the 37-yard line. So Lance Poole picks up a few, but it'll bring up a 3rd down. Call it 3rd and 6. Ball rests at the 37-yard line. Poole again, one of the 2 wideouts along with Alex Dixon on the near side. Rodriguez on 3rd and 6. Deep ball on the far sidelines, caught. Nice quick connection for a first down. That was Will Carenstra, another sophomore, so we'll be hearing that connection for a while. Rodriguez to Carenstra. A couple of sophomores, that's enough to move the sticks. First down and 10 for Grand Haven. Man in motion, they're going to hand it to Poole. Poole turns it up instead of trying to get the corner. Turns it up on the hash mark, gets into Hudsonville territory to the 46. It's a good gain on first down. Give him 6. It'll bring up 2nd down and 4. Hudsonville leading it 14-7. 6:07 remaining here in the opening quarter. Another handoff. This one will get down near the 40-yard line. That's enough to move the sticks. So a first down at the Hudsonville 41. So things have settled down just a bit after a very frantic start here at Eagle Stadium. 2 very quick offensive drives and then a pick 6 for the Eagles. 21 quick points for the 2 teams combined. And now, all of a sudden, the Buccaneers trying to put a little drive together. That's Bodie Wilson in the backfield. Rodriguez will throw wide open. Connects at the 30-yard line and down to the 25. That was a nice route run by Carenstra. And another first down. Got out there pretty quick. He runs a quick route, and then he turns, and Rodriguez finds him with a pretty quick arm. Just a nice turn, knowing where his sophomore classmate is, and put it right on the numbers. Wilson will stand to the right of Rodriguez. Rodriguez play action will keep it and have a short gain to the 22. Beelined out of bounds over there on that Grand Haven sideline near his head coach, Mike Farley. Now, as a coaching staff on both sides, you really would love to have positives going into the offseason, especially with the younger players. And you can really see that right now. I'm sure that Coach Farley sees the positives in the two sophomores on this drive doing a nice job. And then again, we've talked about the seniors and what they're going to do on their final nights. Handoff. Nope, going to fake the handoff and run it again. Rodriguez with the keeper. Dives forward. Doesn't quite get the 20. Markham at the 21. 4.5 minutes remaining here in the quarter. 14-7 Hudsonville. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Second 3rd down and medium yardage on this drive. Wilson the back. He's got Poole and Dixon to the near side as wideouts. They look over to the sideline. Kerenstra, been his big target on this drive, is the lone receiver off to the far side, man-to-man coverage. Play action. Looking for Kerenstra and overthrows him in the end zone. Pretty well covered by Vanderveen this time, and the ball was overthrown. So now a decision to be made on 4th down and 6. Do you have a kicker that can kick a long field goal, or do you go for it on 4th? Right now it looks like final game of the year. Let's draw up a play that's a 4th down play that we can try to convert it here. So it's 4th down and 6, and the Buccaneers will keep the offense on the field. So Rodriguez with Wilson behind him. And movement on the line, but a timeout was called before. So Grand Haven calls the timeout. We'll take the timeout. 3:59 remaining here in the opening quarter. It's Hudsonville 14 and Grand Haven 7. You're watching and listening to the Hudsonville Sports Network.
Businesses with all of their printing, mailing, and fulfillment needs since 1958. Georgetown Dental Professionals. Kristen Ziderdine along with Susan Dieters provide general and aesthetic dental care for the whole family. And Jeff's Pizza of Hudsonville. Right here at your Jeff's at 3735 Baldwin Street, there's no doubt you will get a fast, fresh pizza that will exceed your wildest dreams.
Here come the Buccaneers back on offense, 4th down and 6. Ball at the 21. They go empty backfield. Rodriguez looks left, now turns, fires right. Kerenstra with the catch and a 1st down. Well, he has his go-to guy, and he's wearing number 21. There was no doubt about where that pass was going to go. Made a quick left look, but there was no way he was going that way. He was waiting for Kerenstra to make his cut. A nicely designed play by the Grand Haven coaching staff, and Rodriguez and Kerenstra team up again. So 1st down from the 11. Now mark it at the 12, so 1st and 10. Rodriguez keeping himself. Try the right side. Gain a couple of yards inside the 10. Mark him down at the 8. Clock runs 3:12 remaining here in the opening quarter. Hudsonville 14 and Grand Haven 7. Buccaneers go without a huddle. 2nd down and 7. Handoff, it goes to Poole. Poole turned it up and gets down near the goal line, but stopped just short at the 1. Lance Poole had himself a head of steam as he turned it up. Rosine met him at the 1 yard line to stop him from getting in, but now it'll be 1st and goal to go for the Bucks. Just outside the 1. They line up in the pistol, but now they move it, and it's going to be the quarterback, and it is going to be Rodriguez, and he is going to get into the end zone for the touchdown. So Rodriguez with the keeper, and that's a pretty nice drive there. And the first real sustained drive that we have seen. Everything else has been pretty quick. Extra point is good. So Rodriguez, we'll call it a 2-yard touchdown run to tie the game at 14-14. So Rodriguez will tee it up and kick off. Haas and Bain are deep. It's going to be a squib kick. Going to be Haas taking it at the 12, the 15, the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35, the sideline to the 40, and the last man is able to put his helmet down on him. But a great return for Haas, and the Eagles will have great field position to start this drive. 2:20 remaining here in the opening quarter. That tackle actually made by the quarterback, Rodriguez, who is also kicking. Does a little bit of everything for his team. So the 45-yard line is where the Eagles will set up shop, 1st and 10. Bain in the backfield started to the right hand of Carr, now moves to the left hand. And Bain will get the handoff. Has it at midfield to the 45, and on the short side of the field, he runs out of bounds, but a good gain. Going to give him 11, so a 1st down. It looked so comfortable, like very comfy 11-yard run, very easy. Nice play call and very well executed by that offensive line. So a gain of 11, 1st and 10. Same duo in the backfield, Carr with the keeper. Carr will get to the 40-yard line. Gain of 4. Carr coming into this game had rushed for over 600 yards. 102 carries, 612 yards, and 10 rushing touchdowns. That's to go along with over 1,500 yards through the air. Coming in, he was 108 for 201 passing, 12 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions on the season. Really solid senior season for Trey Carr. Gain of 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Carr rolling right, stopping, gets hit, gets away from it, has some positive yards, has a 1st down, still on his feet to the 30. Still rumbling down near the 27-yard line. Nice job pinballing off a defender in the backfield, turning a loss into a big gain and another Hudsonville 1st down. Just would not be denied. So mark him at the 27, 1st down and 10. High snap, Quick handoff, but not a whole lot there. Handoff to Vanderwall. So Bain getting a breather. Vanderwall now in the backfield, number 2. No gain on that handoff, so 2nd down and 10. Play action, deep ball down the middle, and it's overthrown and incomplete. Intended for Brad Reardon, the senior, across the middle. 27 ticks to play opening quarter. We're tied at 14. So it'll be 3rd down and 10. Trips formation to the near side, including Vanderveen. He's the widest of the 3 wideouts. Reardon will be the lone wide receiver off to the left. Vanderwall, the lone setback, with Trey Carr in the backfield. On 3rd and 10 from the 27. Pressure put on, gets the pass away. Diving attempt, and a catch is made by Reardon. Nice diving catch for a 1st down. Mark him at the 14. Carr had to get rid of that one a little bit earlier than he wanted because of the pressure coming from the edge. He knew he was going to get hit, but he unloaded, and Reardon went down and got it. So a 1st down on a 3rd and 10 play. That'll reset it. And the final 5 seconds of the quarter, they'll get a playoff. Vanderwall will get the handoff, and he will get down into the 10-yard line area, and that will be the final play of the opening quarter. Very entertaining first quarter here at Eagle Stadium. After 1, it's Hudsonville 14 and Grand Haven 14 on the Hudsonville Sports Network.
Some scores from around the OK Conference. Rockford 7, Caledonia nothing. Motor Shores 7, Muskegon 6. Granville 14, EK. East Kentwood 7. Just some scores from around the OK Conference on this football Friday night.
Here we go to the second quarter. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for Hudsonville as they flip ends of the field. Ball just inside the 10-yard line. Carr with Vanderwall, the running back. He's going to throw for it into the corner of the end zone and overthrows Vanderveen.
Carr's pass intended for Vanderveen falls incomplete. Brings up 3rd down and 5.
So 3rd down coming up for Hudsonville. And it's a handoff up the gut and into the end zone. Vanderwall with the touchdown. So Vanderwall gets into the end zone. Well, I think that fooled a lot of people. I think the Buccaneers maybe were looking for a similar play like the last one, or maybe a play action, but Vanderwall's able to get it on in. So the Eagles regain the lead. Extra point on the way, and the kickers have been perfect. As Munoz is good. So 21-14 Hudsonville. As the shootout continues. So a year ago when these two teams played, the final was 49-14. Hudsonville with the win. 2 years ago, 53-0, the Eagles picked up the win here on the home field. The last time that Grand Haven picked up a win in this series was back in 2011. So it's a 10-0 streak for Hudsonville after a 3-0 streak for Grand Haven. So a couple of streaks in this series during the last 13 games played between the two schools. Here it's 21-14. Eagles on top. Munoz to kick, Robinson deep. Robinson backs up, grabs it at the 3, straight up the middle, the 5, the 10, the 15. Ooh, trips over the ankles of one of his teammates. Falls forward to the 20. So here come the Buccaneers, down 7, 11:45 remaining here in the second quarter. Now, the last time the Buccaneers had the ball, they drove it down the field, had a pretty sustained drive, about a 6-minute plus drive before Rodriguez pushed it in on a keeper. Going to fake the handoff and keep it again. He'll get to the 25, to the 26 or 27. And again, when they on pile, that's a good solid run on first down. Give him 7, second down and 3. Now, when the season began, head coach Mike Farley of the Buccaneers recognized that his offensive line could be the strength of his team, and that's what he's utilizing. There's a throw to the far flat, but incomplete. And with the 4 seniors, and again, they've, at least up until this final game, have remained relatively healthy along that offensive line, keeping those seniors intact. So it'll bring up a third down and 3. Rodriguez is going to fake the jet sweep handoff, keep it himself, and it's going to be really, really close depending on the spot. I think the spot is good enough for the first down, and it is. So Xavier Rodriguez just getting enough, so give him 3.5 yards on the carry. And when I call him Xavier, that is exactly how to pronounce. He spells it Xavier, Xavier Rodriguez. And he is an X factor as he hands it off to Wilson. Bodie Wilson, who had a huge run on the third offensive play of the game from 51 yards for a touchdown, has a nice first down carry, 8-yard gain. Mark the ball at the 40-yard line. Clock ticking, 10:21 remaining, second quarter. Handoff to Wilson, and he trips down this time. But a flag comes in the backfield. Wilson got the handoff and then kind of windmilled down to the turf. You're going to call a false start. So they'll repeat the down, move it 5 yards back. Hudsonville with a 7-point lead, 21-14. Ticking under the 10-minute mark here in the second quarter. On senior night here at Eagle Stadium. Pool in motion, Rodriguez the keeper. Nothing there. Eagles will stack it up. Nice job by the interior of that defense. Dykstra getting up off the bottom of that pile and doing a good job to bring up a 3rd down and 7 for the Buccaneers. Ball at the 36-yard line. Go with the empty backfield, 5 wide. Bring the motion into the slot and bring a second motion. High snap. And they're going to throw it deep down the seam. Caught at the 40-yard line. And quickly brought down, but that was an outstanding throw. And that was Dixon making the catch. Boy, after the high snap, Rodriguez had to haul it down and really had to wait for Dixon to come down the seam and was right on the hands. He had the one-on-one coverage, and Dixon, yet another sophomore, making a nice grab. First down for the Buccaneers. First down and 10 at the 36. Going to be a handoff to the left side to Gus Abraham. Abraham will try that left corner, not much there, couple of yards. Clock ticking, 8:20 remaining, second quarter. Yeah, the second straight time that Grand Haven has had the football that they've had a pretty methodical drive and have used a little clock after those quick drives that we saw in the opening quarter. Handoff to Wilson down the left side, tries to tightrope that sideline, ends up falling out of bounds near the 22-yard line. Wilson has had himself pretty decent first half. He had the 51-yard touchdown run, so he's got at least 70 on the ground at this point. And a first down carry there. Mark it at the 22. So 1st and 10 for the Buccaneers. 21-14, the Eagles with the lead. Throw to the far sideline and a catch made. Diving catch at the 15-yard line. Yeah, just a little timing pattern. Quick out. Dixon was there. Pick up some good yardage on first down. 2nd and 3 from the 15. Seems pretty comfortable in the pocket there and able to hit those easy throws as well as the tough ones. Handoff to Wilson. Wilson dives toward the first down marker. Needed to get to the 12, and they give him just enough. So another first down. The drive continues as they move the sticks. 7:19 remaining. The clock will run. Time left here in the second quarter. Hudsonville 21, Grand Haven 14. In the first quarter, we had a 3-play drive for a score by Grand Haven, a 5-play drive by Hudsonville, a pick 6 by Hudsonville, but now 2 nice, long, sustained drives. We'll see if the Buccaneers are able to cash in here. Going to be a handoff on the sweep to the near side, and it's going to be Poole to the corner and into the end zone. That'll be a touchdown. Lance Poole, the senior. So Poole, nice little burst of speed Buccaneers will try to tie it up with an extra point. Good pressure up the middle, but the extra point is on the way and good. So we keep going back and forth. 21-21 at the 6:42 mark here of the second quarter.
Gentlemen's Quarters, Roseman's Car Care, Peterburg Agency, these Shooters, Wayne Doofies, Mike 51, Montelli's of Hudsonville, 317 Coffee, Rainbow Grill, Mr. Burger, Sir Pro, along with Great Lakes Chinese Buffet, Outback Steakhouse, BW3, and Ucello. Some of the main sponsors of Hudsonville football.
So a 5-minute drive for Grand Haven after Hudsonville scored on an 8-yard touchdown run. Their previous drive was about 6.5 minutes. So a couple of sustained drives. There's a bouncing kickoff taken up the middle. Trying to get out to the outside, but brought down close to the 30-yard line. Haas, the return man. So here come the Eagles again. Well, who could stop who? So far, nobody. The offenses have been pretty darn good. I guess the only stop would be the pick 6 by Eli Vanderveen, who jumped in front of a Rodriguez pass. Took it down the sideline for the interception return. Other than that, the offenses have dominated here in the opening half. Bain will get the handoff, cuts it back to the right, gets up near the 34-yard line. Bain started the last drive and got a carry before giving way to Vanderwall, and Vanderwall was able to eventually punch it into the end zone. This time Vanderwall is in the same backfield with Bain, and now Vanderwall is going to line up in a slot to the near side. So Bain the back, Vanderwall a slot. Reardon will get the handoff, cuts it back up the middle, and then gets stood up at the 38-yard line, about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Clock ticking, 5:48 remaining in the half. We're tied at 21. And not a whole lot of rest for either defense when they're on the field, because both teams go no huddle. Quick play calls from the sideline. Every once in a while they'll stop as they are now and look over and get a change of the play. But each offense pretty quick. They know what they want to do. Hand off to Bain. Bain hit in the backfield and dropped. It was a nice tackle in the backfield by Chase Fallis. Fallis was able to get back there, and that is a loss of 1 yard, so it's going to be now 4th and 2. So 3rd and 1 turns out to be 4th and 2. And now the Eagles have a decision to go for it here in their own end, and they will. So a 4th and 2 from their own 37. Carr on the keeper, puts his head down. First down across the 40 to the 41. Boy, that was slow to develop. He had to wait for his blocker to get out in front. Once he did, he was able to plow ahead to get that first down. So right smack dab in the middle of the field at the 41 is where the Eagles will have 1st and 10. Clock runs, 4:25 remaining here in the second quarter. Tied at 21-21. Handoff Vanderwall. He's open on the near sideline. Watch out! They're not going to catch him. Down the sideline he goes and into the end zone for the touchdown. Vanderwall with his second. My, oh my. He put himself a burst of speed once he got that corner, and he was long gone. Second touchdown for Vanderwall. This one from 57. Munoz for another extra point. It's on the way, and it's good. 28-21. If you like offense, you're in the right place. 4:10 to go. Second quarter. Hudsonville 28 and Grand Haven 21 on the Hudsonville Sports Network.
Athletic training services for Hudsonville High School and Hudsonville Athletics provided by, with cooperation of the Spectrum Health Orthopedic and Sports Medicine. As our preferred provider of sports medicine services, this experienced team treats all phases of sports injuries, ranging from sprains, strains, to complete ligament reconstruction. To learn more about Spectrum Health Sports Medicine, please visit spectrum.org and search under Sports Medicine Programs.
So how about Peter Vanderwall tonight? What a first half. Couple of touchdown runs, including a long one as that kickoff will go into the end zone. Coming into this game, Vanderwall had only 15 carries for 47 yards and no touchdowns. He had more than 47 on that last run. Nice way to end the regular season, and we have a ton of game to go. 4:10 to play in the second. 28-21 Eagles. So here we go again with Grand Haven in the ball and 4:10 to work with. Man in motion. Going to give it to the man in motion. That's Poole. Not a whole lot there as the Eagles defensively able to sway that way and fill the hole. Gain of just a couple of yards. Clock will run 3:50 to play here in the half. Rodriguez rolling to the near side. Quick throw. It's caught, but immediately dropped.
Rodriguez pass completes number 20 Poole. Take it down there by number
Chase Cholik with the stop. Cholik coming up from his safety spot and reading that play right off the bat. That was about as good as you can play it defensively. So 3rd down and 7. Now, can somebody make a stop defensively? Here we go. Eagles have a chance. 3rd and 7, deep in their own end. Ball at the 23. Rodriguez rolling near side, a throwback. It's going to be caught over on that far side, but defended well. Gain of just a yard. Vanderveen in pursuit was able to get over there, along with Cholik. Cholik with a couple of plays back-to-back. Vanderveen helping out. There's going to be a timeout with 2:40 remaining here before halftime. That play was all about staying home, and Cholik and Vanderveen both did a really good job of staying in their positions and not biting on the fact that maybe something was coming over to this near side. So it's going to be 4th down. We'll see what the decision for Grand Haven will be. It's going to be 4th and 6. from the 24-yard line in a game that there have been no stops with the exception of the interception that was returned for 6 points. No punts so far in this game. We'll see what the Buccaneers decide to do here on 4th down in their own end. Now, Rodriguez is their punter as well, so we'll see him line up in punt formation, but that doesn't necessarily always mean that it's going to be a punt. Eagles are going to line up with a man back to receive a kick. But Rodriguez standing at his 10 on 4th down. Yep, watch out. Here he comes to the near side. He's going to get hit, and down he goes. Dykstra. Mason Dykstra with a great job of reading that play and making sure that that was not going to go anywhere. Wow, 3 nice defensive plays for Hudsonville on that series. Cholik, and then Cholik and Vanderveen, and now Dykstra on the 4th down play. And the Eagles have themselves a golden chance. So there's that stop, the one that we have not seen. So the Buccaneers rolled the dice and came up empty. Now we'll see if the Eagles can capitalize on it. Carr's going to hand it off. Raridan to the far side, and he's going to jump over one defender. A flag flies in as he gets a 1st down, but we'll see if it's going to come back. Flag came in at about the 11-yard line, down where Raridan was going to be tackled. And then there's another flag at about the 16, so a couple of decisions for the officials. It's 28-21 Hudsonville. 2:25 remaining here in the half. Officials are going to talk this over.
Fouls on the play. Holding. Offense. Number 1. That penalty's declined. Holding. Offense. Number 65. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat 1st down.
So multiple holding fouls. One was downfield, one was closer to the line. They'll take the closer to the line one because it's a spot foul. So they're going to gain some extra yardage out of it. So a hold on the line and then a hold downfield against Hudsonville. And this will back the Eagles up. So mark it back to the 27-yard line.
Spotted at the Grand Haven 27-yard line.
Still be 1st down.
1st down for Hudsonville.
They need to get to the 9-yard line to pick up the 1st down.
Start the clock.
Carr on a quarterback keeper. Oh, he keeps the legs a-churning. Gets some pretty good yardage to the 20. Gets a lot of that penalty yardage back. So he's back to about the original line of scrimmage now. Clock will roll under the 2-minute mark when they get this play called in. Eagles lead them by 7, 28-21. 2nd down and 11. Vanderwall standing to the right of Carr. Carr play action, looking to throw, and throw he does into the end zone, and it's incomplete. Overthrowing Eli Vanderveen. Vanderveen drew a crowd. He had a couple of Buccaneers shadowing him in the S in the end zone. Clock will stop at 1:40 remaining. So 3rd down and 11. It's a big play for the Grand Haven defense here in the latter stages of this 1st half. Half that the offense is pretty much dominated. Carr looking to throw again. This time he rifles it, caught at the 5 and into the end zone for the touchdown. Vanderveen. That was a rifle shot from Carr to Vanderveen. Right on the numbers. So a 20-yard touchdown strike at the 135 mark. And the Eagles take advantage of that fourth down fake punt attempt that didn't work. And the extra point by Munoz is good. He's been perfect on the night. And so at the 135 mark, it's 35-21 Hudsonville.
Hudsonville 35, Haven 21.
So I think if you're the Hudsonville offense, you really want to go to the sideline and tap a couple of your defensive players on the back and say, hey, good job, guys. Cholik defensively had 2 outstanding plays for the defense on that last drive by Grand Haven. And then Mason Dykstra on the fake punt, staying home and making the tackle, not allowing the fourth down conversion. So the defense gets some kudos and will contribute to a short offensive drive for the Eagles offense. 35-21 Hudsonville. 1:35 remaining before halftime. This one will be taken right at the end zone, but it was in the end zone. So Grand Haven will have a minute 34 to work with. And we saw that in the opening quarter that a minute 34 was plenty of time for the Buccaneers offense. They had a 3-play drive to score to open this game. This time, though, they'll start at their 20-yard line. First down and 10. Handoff to Wilson. Wilson, no gain.
Cody Wilson, your ball carrier.
And the clock will tick. So now it looks like both sides are content to let the clock roll a little bit. Grand Haven taking more time looking over to the sideline to get the play. Hudsonville has decided to let the clock run as well and maybe not try to stop it and get the ball back with a lot of time. Rodriguez will hand it off. Gives it off to Poole. Poole not much there. Stacked up again. No gain at the 20. And now the Eagles will call the timeout. So Hudsonville calls time with 50 seconds remaining before halftime. It's going to be a 3rd down and 10. One thing the Eagles defensively seem to be doing a little bit better in the last couple of drives is really doing the flow and staying home. These last 2 runs, they've been able to really stay in their positions and roll to where the ball is going to be and able to make some solid tackles. So as both coaching staffs talk about strategy here with the final 50 ticks, it's 35-21. Hudsonville on top. If you just tuned in, boy, you've missed a lot of action. Grand Haven jumped on top, 3 plays in, 7-0. But since then, it has been back and forth until the last drive. That was a 4th down stop, and the Eagles were able to get a play action. Rodriguez is looking at deep down toward the sideline. It's going to be caught at the 45. What a catch. That's an over-the-shoulder catch and a beauty for Carenstra. My goodness. A 3rd down and 10 play, and that was a big one for the Buccaneers. They needed to keep this drive going to keep the clock running, or at least stop Hudsonville from probably getting the ball back on a 4th down. Now, Grand Haven has some field position and can try to go down and get some points after that nice catch by Kerenstra. This one is a rifle shot, and it's going to be intercepted at the 32-yard line. Picked off by Vanderveen. Vanderveen's second pick of the ball game. That was a rifle shot from Rodriguez trying to hit a seam route, and Vanderveen was able to jump it and just wrestle it away from the intended receiver. So the second interception for Rodriguez, both belong to Eli Vanderveen. So now do the Eagles have time with 37 seconds and a 2-touchdown lead. Trips formation to the near side. 5 wideouts in total for Carr. Ball to 32. Carr pressure on. Wide open near side. It's going to be caught at the 42-yard line. Reardon with the grab. A gain of 9. Yep, no first down. Now they do move it, so a total of 10 yards on the play. They'll hurry up and line up. Clock is running, 27 seconds. Ball's at the 42. Carr again, quick out and out of bounds. Oh, there's some little bit extra going on the sideline. The officials will come over and make sure that nothing will happen with that. Gage Robertson on the receiving end. Short gain, but it stops the clock with 18 seconds. Gain of 5. Eagles 35, Buccaneers 21. Eagles trying to get some more points before halftime. They're at their own 48. Ball in the near hash. Vanderveen in the slot near side. Carr steps up, lofts it, deep, down the seam, far side, incomplete. Had some one-on-one coverage. Robertson, the intended receiver. But the Buccaneers defensively were pretty well covering that play. So 11 seconds. It'll be 3rd down and 5. So Dykstra and Robertson wide to the right. Vanderveen and Reardon to the short side of the field, the near side. Carr again, a deep out to the near side. Quick catch made to the 40. And Reardon, the possession receiver on this play, stops the clock with 6 seconds. I wonder if they're trying to set up for a field goal. Munoz, we'll see what kind of leg maybe he has. Maybe they can get it down to the 25. Or is this just a get it close enough for Carr to be able to throw it into the end zone? With 6 seconds, 1 play, maybe 2, we'll see. Carr looking deep, throwing it toward the end zone. It's up for grabs, and it is incomplete, and 0's on the clock. So that will do it for the first half, and a very entertaining first half here at Eagle Stadium on senior night. Seniors doing damage, sophomores doing damage. It's been a whole lot of fun watching these two teams in this regular season finale. At halftime, it's Hudsonville 35 and Grand Haven 21. You are watching the Hudsonville Sports Network.
Hudsonville Marching Band presents their 2022 production titled Surf's Up. We are proud to present drum majors Reagan Hall, Bryce Boomstra, and the Hudsonville Marching Band.
Beach Boys, I get around right here on 103.5.
marching band is grateful to our 2022 seniors for their leadership in our marching band program. We'd like to honor our 2022 seniors tonight as they perform in Eagle Stadium for the last time. Our seniors are Seth Benninga, Ben Beyer, Celia Brower, Kirsten Christner, Michelle Kober, Lindsay DeHaan, Kevin Hall, Reagan Hall, Emily Hartman, Liz Havens, Javier Henriquez, Casey Lawrence, Madison Leyendecker, Jennifer Mattice, J.C. Mitchell, Cole Newhoff, Aaron Parker, Colin Patterson, Erica Peterson, Caden Smith, Parker Toxstein, Emma Wiersma, and Emmy Zielinski. Let's give it up for the seniors from the Hudsonville Marching Band. This year's marching band is made up of 93 members. The 2022 drum majors are Reagan Hall and Bryce Boomstra. The band's next competition will be on October 22nd at Jennison High School. The band would like to thank Pete's Auto Parts for their generous support this season. The band would also like to thank their parents, teachers, administrators, staff, boosters, and the community for their generous support throughout the season. For more information about the band is available at their website, hudsonvillebands.org.
And welcome back to Eagle Stadium, where we are set for third quarter action. Hudsonville 31 and Hudsonville 35, Grand Haven 21. A 14-point lead for the Eagles after a back and forth first quarter and a half. The Eagles were able to get a fourth down fake punt stop and a score after that to increase their lead, and they'll get the football to start off quarter number 3. Haas will get it at the 15 to the 20 to the 25 and gets tripped out of bounds near the 30-yard line.
Kickoff for Hudsonville. Forced out of bounds there by number 24, Cummings.
So here come the Eagles offensively. They have not been stopped in this game. No punts for the Hudsonville team at this point. Actually, no punts for either team. The one punt was a fake punt that did not turn out very well for Grand Haven. They did it deep in their own end, and it ended up where the Eagles converted and were able to score a touchdown on that ensuing drive. So senior quarterback Trey Carr had an outstanding opening half. Had a little help from his friends, though. Boy, what an outstanding overall first half for a bunch of Eagle individuals. Going to be a handoff on a first down play.
Groheis on the carry.
Groheis will get his first carry of the game.
On the play. Second down and 6.
Picks up 4 yards. Second down and 6. Peter Vanderwall had an outstanding first half. He's the running back standing next to Carr. He's going to go in motion to the near side. He gets the swing pass to this near side, get him out in space and across the 40. First down for Hudsonville.
Carr's pass complete to Vanderwall.
Vanderwall with a short touchdown run and a long touchdown run in the opening half. His first 2 touchdowns of the season.
1st and 10 from the Hudsonville 41-yard line.
1st and 10 for Hudsonville on the opening drive of quarter number 3 with a 14-point lead over Grand Haven here in this OK Red final game of the season for both teams. Man in motion, fake the handoff. Carr's going to keep it, tries to get the corner. Oh boy, he took one hit, bounces off, still going. Across the 50-yard line and into Buccaneer territory.
Quarterback keeper.
Boy, he took a big hit and was straightened up. Was able to continue motoring along. First down for the Eagles at the Buccaneer 49. Vanderveen along with Raridan and Robertson. Trips formation to the near side. Vanderwall, the lone setback, standing to the right of Carr. Carr will roll to this near side. Looks to throw. He does. Vanderveen has it at the 35 and out of bounds.
Carr's pass complete to number 1, Vanderveen.
Gain of 15 yards and another Hudsonville first down.
16, Wilson. First down for the Eagles.
Carr came into this game with over 1,500 passing yards and over 600 rushing yards, so 2,100 all-purpose yards for senior quarterback Trey Carr. First down at the Buccaneer 35. And in motion and a quick handoff. Nowhere to go this time, though. Buccaneers defensively are at it well. Vanderwall swallowed up in the backfield. Actually lost a couple of yards. That might be the first tackle for loss in this game in terms of the Hudsonville offense. They have been able to plow forward for positive yardage most every play up until that one. So a loss of 2, second down and 12. A trio of receivers to the left, and Carr looks to throw it deep down the middle, wide open. Vanderveen's got it. Touchdown, Hudsonville.
Touchdown, Hudsonville. Carr's pass.
35-yard touchdown.
Hudsonville touchdown.
Boy, was Vanderveen wide open. That was absolutely picture perfect. Perfect play call, perfect throw.
Roughing the passer.
And then a roughing the passer on the back end.
Touchdown stand. That penalty will be applied on the kickoff, 15 yards.
So they'll apply that penalty on the kickoff. But Carr to Vanderveen. How many times have we said that this season? Well, that will be the 9th time we have said that. 9 touchdown catches now for Eli Vanderveen. And it is another extra point attempt. Munoz has been perfect.
Munoz.
And this one is good as well.
30 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
So 42-21.
Grand Haven 21.
Now that was a really impressive opening drive that didn't take a whole lot of time.
Benton Baker of Hudsonville.
And Carr and Vanderveen again connecting. Now, Eli Vanderveen, who came into this game with 28 catches for 655 yards, he was averaging 23 yards per catch. I would guess that average is actually going to go up after tonight. He has had a couple of big gainers already in this game. That one goes for 35. He's had a couple of other big ones in this game. So Carr and Vanderveen continuing to write their name in the record books here in Hudsonville. 42-21 in favor of the hometown Eagles here at Eagle Stadium. 9.5 remaining in the 3rd quarter. So the roughing the passer call will allow the Eagles to kick it off from the Grand Haven 45. Actually, there's a lot you can do. You could actually do an onside kick here and not really lose a whole lot of yardage if you want to. Or you can just put the foot into it and kick it out to Baldwin Street. And that's what will happen. So Grand Haven's offense will come onto the field for the first time here in the 3rd quarter.
Grand Haven will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
Xavier Rodriguez, the sophomore quarterback. He'll have Lance Poole as a running back. Will Carenstra, sophomore, who had a really nice first half as one of the receivers. They're going to stop the play before it can begin. And a timeout called by Hudsonville.
Their first of the half.
Some more great Hudsonville sponsors.
So Hudsonville calls time.
Highest standards in full service transporting, container refrigeration equipment and services. Locally owned and operated. Image Builders Marketing. Your local marketing needs. One simple source: embroidery, screen printing, laser etching and engraving, full color UV print, heat transfers, vinyl graphics, and website services. Outdoor Pro Shop, providing full service.
Not sure if there was just a
for all your fishing, hunting, and
personnel problem or an equipment problem that they wanted to take care of, but
will help you find your perfect carpet or your vinyl flooring.
on the first defensive play here of this 3rd quarter, the Eagles use a timeout.
To begin.
And more than likely, try to get as many seniors in the game as possible as well. Rodriguez, deep, wide open, and it is dropped. Oh, that was going to be a touchdown. Carenstra was absolutely wide open at the 45. Ball was just a little bit low. It was down about belt high, but oh, he's made some great catches in this game. Not able to haul that one in, and it would have gone for a long touchdown. Sometimes those are the hardest ones, the ones where there's nobody around and you're just waiting for that ball to get to you. Because you're used to having some footsteps and used to having to compete for it. Just an unfortunate miss. Swing past a Poole to the far side. He'll beeline out of bounds near the 25.
Rodriguez's pass complete to Lance Poole. Taken out of bounds there by number 10, Chase Cholik.
Poole playing in his final game as a Buccaneer. He's a senior.
For Grand Haven.
Give him a gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6 from the 24. From the gun, trips to the near side. Corenstra, the wideout, all alone to the far side. Looking near, now he looks far, and it's going to Corenstra. Makes the catch with a defender draped all over him. And he runs to the sideline and gets out of bounds near the 40. See, that's a lot tougher catch than the one that he dropped, and he was able to squeeze that one away from a defender who was shadowing him. Nice catch by Will Corenstra. First down for Grand Haven at the 41. 9:11 to play, third quarter. 42-21, Hudsonville. Fake the handoff and a quarterback keeper right up the gut. Boy, got met straight on.
Rodriguez on a quarterback keeper. Stopped in there by number 52, Jacob Milward.
Milburn and Decline
Play, second down and 8.
in on that stop. Shedding their blockers and meeting Rodriguez head on. Gain of 2, second down and 8. Ball just shy of the 43-yard line. Buccaneers of Grand Haven going right to left from our press box view here at Eagle Stadium tonight. Play action. Throw to the seam near side. It's caught. That'll be a first down. Goes to Alex Dixon.
Alex Dixon. Stopped there by number 21.
Dixon, one of those sophomore wideouts.
First and 10 from the Hudsonville 43-yard line.
Dixon and Corenstra. A couple of sophomores along with the quarterback Rodriguez. Rodriguez keeps it after faking the handoff. He has some room. 35 to the 30. Gets to the outside, the 25. Still on his feet to the 20 and gets out of bounds near the 10. Boy, he put the Jets on once he got the corner. Then he was able to keep his balance and not go out of bounds and get all the way down to the 10.
First and 10.
So we'll see where they spot it. I think it's a first and goal to go.
From the Hudsonville
10-yard line. So first and goal from the 10 for Grand Haven. 8:01 remaining third quarter. Wilson, the running back, now steps up beside the quarterback. They're going to have a quarterback keeper. Rodriguez is going to be hitting the backfield. Going to lose some yardage.
Take it down there for a loss by number 80, Mason Dykstra.
Mason Dykstra has made a couple of nice plays defensively, was able to hold his ground and get the initial hits on Rodriguez. He'll get credit for the tackle for loss. Second down and goal from the 13. Rodriguez with the throw, and it's going to be caught at the 5-yard line. Vanderveen almost jumped it. Well, they call it incomplete, so Vanderveen was able to knock it out. So they're going to mark it at the 14-yard line, where it's going to be third down and goal to go. So third and goal for the Buccaneers. 42-21, Hudsonville on top. Rodriguez rolling out to the right, throwing it, and it is going to be picked off by the Eagles at the 5-yard line.
By the Eagles. Intercepted there by number 80, Mason Dykstra.
Mason Dykstra stepped in front. There were actually 2 or 3 Eagle jerseys that could have stepped in front of that one. But Dykstra is the guy who gets it and then immediately hands it to the official. So Dykstra with the pick to stop the Buccaneers' drive. Third interception thrown by Rodriguez in this game. That was thrown into a crowd. Probably would like that one back. Hudsonville's offense back onto the field. And again, an offense that has not been stopped tonight. Handoff bouncing off the middle of the pile and trying to get out to the left side is Vanderwall.
Number 24, Dylan Cummings.
Peter Vanderwall, a senior.
Second down and 8.
Coming into this game, had played only 4 games, had 15 carries for 47 positive yards, had lost 2, so 45 plus yards coming in. And he is well above that in this one single game. Getting a lot of playing time here tonight. Vanderwall again. This time will try the right side. Not a whole lot there.
25, Keegan Hunt.
So the Buccaneers defense tightening up. Down.
Loss on the play. Third down and 9 for the Eagles.
Deep in the other end. So it's 3rd down and 9 for Hudsonville. Ball at the 6-yard line. Carr has a long ways to look to get the play called in. His back is almost to the end zone. Clock is running, 5:53 remaining, 3rd quarter. 42-21, Hudsonville on top. Carr looking to throw, and he does to the near side, and he overthrows his intended receiver.
Carr's pass intended for Reardon.
Reardon, the intended receiver. But it'll be 4th down, and this will be the first time we will see the punting team come out for Hudsonville. It'll be 4th and 9. And this is the place on the field where you really don't like to see your punting team standing deep in your own end zone to kick it out. Everything has to be perfect. Vanderveen standing about 2 yards from the back end of his end zone, and he drops it. And he tries to get out of there. Oh, he's going to try to run now. He can still kick it if he wants, and he is going to be tackled in the end zone for a safety. Well, he had a couple of opportunities there to maybe try to get rid of it after he dropped it.
Vanderveen on the carry, tackled in the end zone by the
But in the end, the Buccaneers were able to get him.
For Grand Haven.
So you put a safety on the board for the Buccaneers. And it's 42-23.
5:31 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. That's the place on the field where you do not want to see your punting team. Everything has to be perfect in order to get it out of there, and everything wasn't perfect. So Grand Haven picks up a safety.
The score from the OK Conference: Rockford 30, Caledonia 0.
So 42-23.
Shores 28, Granville 28, East Kentwood 14, Cedar Springs 28, Wayland 21.
And now the Eagles will have to kick it out of there. It'll be a free
10,
kick.
West Ottawa 7.
And the Buccaneers will get it back. So that's a big play. There's still a lot of time left in this football game. 5.5 remaining in the 3rd. Still have a 1.25 remaining in this one. Anytime you can get some points on defense or on special teams and then get the ball right back. So that last interception by the Buccaneers didn't cost them anything, actually gained them 2 points. And now the free kick from the 20-yard line. Buccaneers should get pretty good field position out of this. Going to hit at the 30. And, almost dropped, but at the 39-yard line is
kickoff returned by Robinson,
where Robinson finally corrals it. So Chase Robinson,
taken down there by number 27.
like he lost it for just a moment, but was able to recover.
Grand Haven.
So Grand Haven will have it again. Good field position at their own 38. 5.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd. 42-23. Hudsonville on top. Rodriguez will hand it off to Wilson. And Wilson is hit across the 40 and knocked down at the 41.
Second down and 7.
With the exception of that long Xavier Rodriguez run around the left end, the last possession, the Eagles have done a better job of shutting down the run, stopping it a bit, slowing it down compared to what they were able to do in the opening quarter. Swing it out to the near side to Poole. Poole up to the 45 to the 46.
Completes number 20 Poole.
Dykstra with the stop.
Number 10 Chase Chillick. There's a third down and 2.
Third and 2 for the Buccaneers. 4.5 minutes remaining in the third. Ball on the near hash. Rodriguez has Poole go in motion. Hand it to Poole. Turns it up, has the first down into Hudsonville territory.
Number 20, Lance Poole, your ball carrier. Taken out there by number 10, Cholick. First down for Grand Haven.
Cholick with another tackle. Boy, he must have double figures. Cholick and Dykstra seemingly have been in on every other tackle here in this game. Been very, very active on the defensive side for Hudsonville. Mark it at the 49. First down and 10 for Grand Haven. Rolling to the near side, Xavier Rodriguez. And he throws it, and it's going to be intercepted by Hudsonville. Nice diving pick.
Rodriguez's pass intercepted by number 21, Ethan Post for the Eagles.
Post with the pick.
Hudsonville
He had to scoop that one. He had to get underneath and make sure he was able to get the hands under, and he was able to do so. 4 interceptions now thrown by Rodriguez.
On 37-yard line.
So that'll stop the drive. And all of a sudden, the Hudsonville defense starting to come up with a lot of turnovers. Very solid effort when you can get 4 picks, including one that goes for 6 points. Carr will run it across the 45, and a late flag is going to fly in from the back judge.
Stopped in there by Cummings. Penalty flag thrown at the end of the play.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense. Number 24. That penalty be enforced 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
So the face mask will tack on some extra real estate on the end of that run. They'll mark it down to the 39-yard line. Hudsonville 42, Grand Haven 23. 3:47 remaining here in the third. Carr looking over to the coaching staff to get the play. Raridan and Robertson, wideouts to the near side. Vanderveen all alone to the far side. Gonna hand it off to Vanderwall. Oh, doesn't get anywhere. Nice job getting into the backfield and making the stop.
Taken down for a loss there by number 16, Wilson.
That was Bodie Wilson doing a great job of getting in and clipping the heels of Vanderwall. That's a loss of 5. Second down and 15. Ball back at the 43. Eagles go with the 3 wideouts near side. Carr in trouble. Steps up into the pocket, and he's going to get some positive yardage after he tucked it and gets back across the original line of scrimmage and down to the 38.
Third down and 9.
That'll leave the Eagles with a 3rd and 9. Clock at 2:17 and running here in the third quarter. Hudsonville 42, Grand Haven 23. Eagles taking a lot more time, very deliberate with their play calling and getting the play called in this drive and the last drive. Vanderwall in motion, and they're going to stop play. Somebody moved. It's going to cost the Eagles some yardage. They'll stop the clock at 1:49 and assess this penalty.
Offense, number 2, 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down. Correction, repeat third down.
So 3rd and 14 back at the 43. Raritan, Robertson, and Vanderveen all looking to the near side. They're the wide receivers. Vanderwall
Start the clock.
along with Carr in the backfield. Carr looking to throw. He unloads to the near side, and it's going to be incomplete, out of bounds.
Carr's pass intended for Vanderveen falls incomplete.
Vanderveen, the intended receiver, might have actually caught it, but he was out of bounds. So incomplete pass, stops the clock at 1:34. And for the second time in the game and the second time in this quarter, the Eagles are going to have to punt. And the first time didn't go well. They punted from their end zone and had a snap that was dropped and turned into a safety for Grand Haven. This time you can breathe a little easier when you're on this part of the field, though. And Vanderveen will line up, has the snap, punts it away. It's going to hit at the 15 and quickly is downed right there. So this time, the punt team feels a little bit better about themselves.
Vanderveen punt carries down to the 10-yard line. Penalty flag thrown on the punt.
And there is a penalty flag on the play. Yeah, the officials will talk this over. Looks like they're saying that it's going to go against Grand Haven.
During the kick. Holding on the return team. That foul will be enforced from the end of the kick. 10 yards. First down, Grand Haven.
So a 10-yard penalty for holding on the kick. And the Buccaneers will start out pretty deep in their own end after this walk-off. So after a pretty crazy first half, especially the first quarter in terms of scoring, things have settled in a bit here in the third quarter. Just a Hudsonville touchdown and a Grand Haven safety. And now the Buccaneers will start out back inside their 10-yard line. Mark it at the 8. Ball on the far hash. Xavier Rodriguez going to hand it off to Poole. Poole gets rid of one would-be tackler in the backfield, gets across the 10 and up near the 15.
Your ball carrier.
Gains 6 yards on the play.
6 yards gained on the play.
Second down and 4.
For Grand Haven.
Eagles doing some substituting on defense. Buccaneers will have a trips formation to the far side. Gonna hand it off. Bodie Wilson, my goodness, he got some punishment and gave some punishment on the back end of that tough run that gains a first down. Didn't gain much, gained enough for the first down, but boy, defenders and Bodie will remember that one.
From their own 18.
Final 30 seconds here of quarter number 3. Mark it at the 18, 1st and 10, Grand Haven. Quick throw and a quick tackle. Again, it's Dykstra. Dykstra has been just outstanding in terms of reading the play. Once Poole received that, Dykstra was right on him. And that could be the last play of the third quarter. It more than likely is, and it is. So 3 quarters in the books. Not a whole lot of scoring compared to what we saw in the opening half. And we'll go to the fourth with Hudsonville leading Grand Haven 42-23. You're watching the Hudsonville Sports Network.
Kicking off tonight for Hudsonville will be Ethan DeLine. Ethan has a chance. Make a field goal for Jets, third quarter kick. So close. Jets Pizza, proud sponsor of Hudsonville Athletics and the Athletic Boosters. Jets Pizza, of course, is locally owned and operated right here across the street. Does truly appreciate all your support. Be sure to visit Jets Pizza before and after home games. Be sure to check them out. Jets Pizza. Life is short, eat better pizza.
And here we go, final 12 minutes of this season. How about that? Season that always seems to go by in a hurry. These football seasons seem to start and then end. As Rodriguez looks to unleash and does, and that ball's knocked away at the very last second.
Rodriguez's pass intended for Corinstra falls incomplete.
Nice defense out there by Ethan Post, who stripped it away from Corinstra.
Third down and 13 for Grand Haven.
That'll bring up a third down and long from the 15-yard line. 3rd and 13 for the Buccaneers. Hudsonville with the lead, 42-23. Eagles have been able to corral 4 interceptions defensively in this game. Hand off to Poole. Poole trying to get the edge, but won't get there. He is corralled. Brought down by Cholik.
Stopped there by number 10, Cholik.
Cholik had to run him down from behind. Now we saw earlier that the Buccaneers went for it on fourth down right in about this position.
For Grand Haven.
Well, they didn't go for it, but they lined up to punt and went for a fake punt. And it looks like they're going to do the same thing here, at least line up to punt on 4th down and 5. Ball's at the 21. Again, when your quarterback is the punter, you never know what's going to happen. Rodriguez will kick it away this time. It's going to be caught just inside the 50-yard line. So the Eagles will have good field position, just over 11 minutes to work with, and have a 42-23 lead.
Hudsonville will start off 1st and 10. From the Grand Haven 48.
Senior quarterback Trey Carr has gone all the way in this one, and I would think you would expect that, being the senior. He gets to play his final game, play it out. Going to fake the handoff and keep it himself. Has some good running room. Across the 40 to the 35. Nice solid quarterback keeper for 15 yards and a first down of Hudsonville.
52, Dean Matson. First down for Hudsonville. First and 10 from the Grand Haven 34.
Clock starting to tick it down. Final 10:37 of this fourth quarter. Carr taking a longer look to that sideline, making sure he has the correct call. Two wideouts right. One will come in motion. Going to hand it off to Vanderwall. Vanderwall will get a short gain. They had that motion man as the lead blocker. That was Robertson coming across in motion. He's the blocker for Vanderwall. Just a gain of a yard. Second down and 9. If you just tuned in, most of the excitement was in the opening quarter.
Second down and 9 for Hudsonville.
Grand Haven scored on their first 3 plays. Play number 3 resulted in a 51-yard touchdown run as Carr looks wide open catch made on this near side of the 25 and
pass completes to number 6,
down to the 22 as Reardon makes the catch.
Stop there for number 22, Robinson.
Eagles came back with a 5-play drive to knot it up 7-7. Eagles took a 14-7 lead. Then it was tied at 14. Eagles came back to lead 21-14. Then it was 21 all. Hudsonville led 28-21 and then led 35-21 at the half and scored the only touchdown of the third quarter. Carr up the middle, still on his feet, and he's going to get down near the 10-yard line.
Trey Carr on the quarterback keeper. Stopped in there by number 77, Eli Ziska.
Going to mark him at the 12, so they'll move the sticks, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 12. Carr gives it to Vanderwall, puts his head down, he stumbles across the 5, and he almost gets in, down to the 2-yard line. He got hit and pinballed and kept his balance and was able to scoot on down to the 2. First and goal to go for the Eagles from the 2-yard line. Vanderwall again hit at the line, still trying to struggle and get toward the goal line. Nope, stopped at the 1.
Vanderwall, your ball carrier.
Well, they keep giving it to Vanderwall to try to get him his 3rd touchdown of the game. Nope, Vanderwall comes out.
From the Grand Haven 1-yard line.
Robertson will come in. Connor Brintnall, wearing number 27, is now in the backfield. Carr's going to hand it on the jet sweep and a touchdown. That's Robertson. Sweeping it on in. Gage Robertson from a yard out. So Gage Robertson finds pay dirt. And the Eagles increase their lead. Another solid drive for the Hudsonville offense. And Munoz with another extra point attempt. On the way and good.
Munoz extra point is good.
49-23 Hudsonville with 7:54 remaining.
Hudsonville 49, Grand Haven 23. There's some more great sponsors for Hudsonville football. Sprinkle Donut
So it's
Shop.
beginning to look a lot like a third win of the season for the hometown Eagles.
Quality donuts. R&M Fabrication, metal design, semi-trailer fabrication, standard fabrication.
They're going to look back on this season as a very competitive season. They played a lot of good teams and played them hard. Played them right down to the wire. And had some of those teams that are really going to make some runs in the Division I playoffs. And as a matter of fact, there are a couple of teams on the schedule that the Eagles played really, really tough that might be favored to go all the way, or at least to make it to a Final Four or a Final Two. That's how tough the schedule was this season. And the Eagles played them tough. Right down to the wire each and every night. They have 7:54 to wrap this one up. Gonna hit and bounce to the 5-yard line. Up to the 20. Some blocking in front to the 25-30 and beelining out of bounds.
Robinson returns the kickoff.
Robinson
Forced out of bounds there.
will give the Buccaneers some good field position.
1st and 10 for Grand Haven from their own 35-yard line.
I think another key in this one here, at least after the first quarter and a half or so, was the defense for the Eagles. 4 interceptions. That's the obvious. But also at least slowing down the run when they needed to. Buccaneers got some big runs, and the quarterback, Rodriguez, has had a couple of runs that have been pretty nice runs as well. But they've been able to, by and large, slow the run down until now that I talk about it. There's a nice stutter step move across the 50 and into Hudsonville territory to the 45.
Forced out of bounds there by number 6, Raridan. 1st down for the Bucks.
So a 1st down for Grand Haven.
1st and 10 from the Hudsonville 40.
Clock will run, 7.5 remaining. Ball is marked at the 42-yard line. Man in motion, he'll stop in the slot left side. Poole will go in motion. He'll get the handoff. Poole looks in, now goes back out, puts his head down, gets across the 30, and that'll be a 1st down. 12 yards for Lance Poole, playing in his final game as a senior.
31, Stephen Weber.
Mark it right at the 30-yard line.
1st and 10 from the Hudsonville 30.
Rodriguez fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. High steps across and is going to go down the sideline and into the end zone. That'll be a 30-yard touchdown run.
Rodriguez on the quarterback keeper for the 30-yard touchdown for the Bucks.
So Rodriguez, just as I talk about how the defense has been a lot better stopping the run, well, the run did it all on that drive. And Rodriguez caps it with a 30-yard touchdown run. And that didn't take long. As a matter of fact, took just over a minute for Grand Haven to get into the end zone. That's their first touchdown of the second half. Extra point is on the way, and it's good.
Extra point by...
So it's 49 to 30.
6:49 remaining. Hudsonville 49. Grand Haven 30. Here's some more great Hudsonville sponsors. Feaster Travel, the Hudsonville Eagles official family travel concierge. Hudsonville High School football tonight, vacation tomorrow.
Well, the sophomore quarterback is impressive. He is very athletic. It's a burst of speed.
With all their printing, mailing, and fulfillment needs since 1958.
Looks very easy. That was just an easy 30-yard run. Was able to pick his blocks where he needed to right off the bat, and then was able to put the burst on down the sideline.
Jets at 3735 Baldwin Street. There's no doubt that you will get a fresh, fast pizza.
Now, if you're a Grand Haven fan, you've got some sophomores on this team who are going to really be fun to watch. Starting with Rodriguez, Carenstra, Dixon. Couple of wideouts. Have to replace almost the entirety of their offensive line, though, which has been really solid to get that running game going. Well, that kickoff is dropped at the 10, picked up at the 15, and doesn't quite get out to the 20-yard line. But in high school football, you are replacing multiple players, multiple starters every year. You've got to find somebody. There is a flag on the play.
During the return, a legal block in the back. Number 32 on the return team. That foul is enforced 10 yards from the spot of the foul. 1st down, Hudsonville.
So the Eagles will start pretty deep in their own end with 6:42 remaining. You also have to look at the lower levels of your programs, and if you're Hudsonville, you have to feel pretty good. Their junior varsity team finished 7-1. And we're co-champions of the league. So a very solid junior varsity program. Vanderwall will get the first down carry and spins up to the 10-yard line. Now, right now, the Eagles just want to run some clock, have all the seniors finish this thing up in a safe manner, obviously, victorious manner. But leading by 19 with 6:11 remaining, you want to make sure that continue to have clock management here. Especially the way that the Buccaneers have shown that they can score in a hurry. They've had multiple drives under a minute. Vanderwall gets the handoff, gets the first down across that 15 and up near the 20-yard line. That'll move the sticks and keep the clock rolling. So first down for the Eagles at the 20-yard line. 49-30. Hudsonville on top. Carr with a pair of backs flanking him, and he'll hand it off. Not much gain, if any, just back to the line of scrimmage. Now the 49 points that the Eagles have put up in this game are a season high for the Eagles. They had 38 in a 38-0 win over Jenison.
Second down and 10 for the Eagles.
Vanderwall again, up to the 25, gain of 5 yards. Clock continues to tick. Starting to roll down toward that 4-minute mark. 3rd and 5 from the 25. Vanderwall on a counter. Hit at the line and just a short gain to the 27, so did not get the first down.
Vanderwall, your ball carrier.
It'll be 4th down and 3.
4th down and 3 for the Eagles.
And Hudsonville will have to punt it away, or at least that would be the decision made. Yep, as Vanderveen comes out in punt formation. Kerenstra is back deep at the 38-yard line. Vanderveen standing at his 12 to punt it away, letting the clock run as much as he can, and then they call a timeout. So Hudsonville uses the timeout and will have 1 remaining. Grand Haven still has their full allotment of 3 timeouts and 3:14 remaining. Eagles with a 19-point lead, 49-30. Well, at last report, heard that Rockford was beating Caledonia. And if that score holds up, Rockford would win the OK Red. And at the end of the day, it looks like Rockford, Caledonia, Granville, and East Kentwood are probably all going to make the Division I playoffs and have a chance to move on. Rockford and Caledonia more than likely will be home teams. Granville could be a home team as well. They had a pretty good playoff points number, while East Kentwood would be a road team based on what their playoff points were. So here we go again, 4th down, and Vanderveen will punt it away. Picked at the 40-yard line. Started left, coming back to the right. Not much there. Bottled up, and down he goes at the 46. So Karenstra with a short return. And another penalty flag. Been quite a few penalty flags on special teams. We've had the safety on special teams and a lot of flags at the back end of these punts. And even on a few kicks.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Kicking team, number 7. That penalty be enforced 15 yards from the end of the run. First down, Grand Haven. That is number 7's first of the game.
Well, unsportsmanlike against Hudsonville. That's going to give Grand Haven really great field position. 3 timeouts and 3:01 down by 19. We'll see where they spot this after the walk-off. And it's going to be marked at the 39. So with an empty backfield, Rodriguez fakes the handoff and gets hit in the backfield, and down he goes. Jacob Millward. Make that Trent Mervaux getting back in the backfield, number 50.
5 yards lost on the play, second down to 15.
Lost about 6 on the play, so it's second down and long. Handoff to Poole, not much there. Mason Dykstra coming up and making the hit. So the Buccaneers just keeping it on the ground here. I thought they might try to air it out and get a quick hit, and you never know, make an onside kick and get it back. And stranger things have happened, but it doesn't look like that's the mindset now. So it's third down and long from the 42. And down he goes again in the backfield. And it's Mervaux who gets another sack. And it's going to be fourth and long. So the clock ticking down to 1:50 remaining. And the Hudsonville defense doing a great job here on this possession. Back to back. And actually 2 of the 3 plays have been tackles for loss. And a timeout called by Grand Haven. That leaves them with 2. And 1:39 remaining. It'll be fourth down after the timeout. They have to get to the 29 or this ball game is over. So one last attempt here by the Buccaneers to try to keep this game alive with 1:39 to go. It's 49-30, Hudsonville on top. And if the Eagles get a stop here, they can run the rest of the clock out, even though Grand Haven does have 2 timeouts, but I think they probably would not use them in this instance. So here we go, fourth down from the 48. Need to get to the 29 to get the first down. 4 wide, man in motion. Rodriguez lofts it toward the sideline, incomplete, and no flags. So broken up. And that probably should put a ribbon around this one. The Hudsonville offense will come back out, and they'll be able to run the final minute and a half off the clock and put a senior night home victory to bed. Game that was crazy early, settled into a ho-hum game, I guess, here in the second half. But if you're a senior, got a chance to go out with a W, and defense with 4 interceptions. I thought defensively, again, Mason Dykstra and Chase Cholik really played really well defensively today. Vanderveen had the pick 6. And here's a handoff coming to the near side. And that's Bo Grothice. And the clock is running, so a minute 12 remaining. And Grand Haven will not stop the clock. So the clock will run. It'll be second down after a gain of 2. And we're under a minute to play. So they can snap it one more time and put this one into the victory column. And for Hudsonville, they will finish with a record of 3-6. Grand Haven is going to end at 1-8. Down the sideline, though, watch out. There might be some more points scored, and there will be. A long run by Carson Dykstra. 50 yards. So Carson Dykstra with 31 seconds remaining. Will add some more points to the scoreboard. And again, the points scored tonight, far and away the most points that the Eagles have scored in a game this season. And that was just an easy end around. I think maybe the Buccaneers thought it was just going to be a kneel down, but instead it was a handoff end around. And the extra point is good. And it's 56-30. So 31 seconds remaining after Carson Dykstra's 50-yard touchdown run. For Carson Dykstra, Dykstra had only 3 rushing attempts all season long for 5 yards. So that far and away his best run. And that was his first rushing touchdown of the season. Yeah, Dykstra did not have a receiving touchdown either, so his first touchdown. So Carson Dykstra, the sophomore, finds the end zone for the first time. 56-30. Eagles on top. And what will be the final kickoff of the 2022 season. Taken at the 5 and the 10, up to the 20, the 25, the 30, to the 35-yard line, and a flag comes in, which is pretty apropos for special teams tonight. And the flag is going to be kind of kicked up to the 25-yard line, so this is going to come back.
Holding. Return team, number 27. Holding. Number 20. On the return team, those penalties offset. First down.
So a penalty on each side. So they'll offset, and the play will end where the tackle was made at the 37. 11 seconds, clock is running, so this, well, now the clock is being stopped by the officials. And they're going to put a few more seconds back. So 21 seconds remaining. And it'll be first down and 10 from the 37-yard line. And it's going to be a handoff to the left side, and that could and should do it, as the clock is running down to the final 10 seconds. And they're going to try to hurry up and line up, maybe get one more play. It's down to 3. And there are the zeros, and that will do it. So the final score here at Eagle Stadium, Hudsonville 56 and Grand Haven 30. So senior night, successful, and the seniors were very successful, with Trey Carr having another solid game at quarterback, Eli Vanderveen, couple of touchdown catches, and an interception return for a touchdown. Peter Vanderwall, the senior running back, with a couple of touchdown runs, his first 2 of the season. Defensively, Mason Dykstra all over the field for the Eagles. Chase Cholik all over the field. So the seniors will celebrate a victory as the Eagles end their season on a winning note to finish at 3-6 overall and 3-4 in the OK Red. Grand Haven 1-8, and they finish 0-7 in conference play. Well, that's going to wrap things up for us here at Eagle Stadium. Much thanks for watching us here tonight and for this partnership between WCET-TV and the Hudsonville Athletic Department. Great to have you along. We will see you during the basketball season as well here in this partnership. So that'll do it again. Once again, the final score. It's Hudsonville 56 and Grand Haven 30. Kurt Wilson saying so long from Eagle Stadium.